we go.
A little different perspective on this tournament, having played in it and now being a coach. What is it that makes the MAC championship so challenging?
The MAC's a tough conference. I don't think we get the credit that, we deserve in a sense. Some of these teams that we go up against, some tournaments, like the girls said, we go up against them in certain tournaments, and, everybody can bring it. Certain tournaments, people aren't on their game as much as they want to be. But I think that's what makes the MAC so special is every team is bringing their A game at that moment. And then you really see what the MAC is all about.
What do you remember about when you were playing in this tournament?
I love competing. So, and to have an elevated event like that, like your conference championship, where, these other players that you've played against throughout the season, and then you finally get this, maybe last chance to compete against them and compete for your team. And it makes it so exciting. And I think that's what I loved about the MAC, and that we finally had a MAC championship when I was playing here at Eastern. But and to see it progress, through the years and what it's become, and have, televised and, get a lot more recognition. I think these athletes deserve it. So
the role you have now, certainly as a head coach, but also on the PGA side, and seeing what women's golf, women's sports in general has grown. If you went back and kind of told yourself as a 12-year-old, could you imagine what all opportunities you even see now and how much coverage there would be for women's athletics?
No, I think it was starting then. You could see it more. You see more women, more young girls getting into different sports. Everybody I was in high school with, we tried so many different sports growing up, and, eventually all of us found something that stuck. And the great thing, and I always say this, is that we always had the supportive men in our life that pushed us to do it. Not in a good way, right? They supported whatever we wanted to do. My dad and my brother, they supported us wholeheartely. And I think that's what helped the movement with women's sports. There was women who were pioneers and who started it, and I think there was many men behind it who helped, push it through and see that their daughters, their grandchildren, would become, athletes and superstar athletes, in the end. So
your season as a whole, I think you look at the top. You've been very good at the top. It's finding consistency with some other over the course of a tournament. Mm-hmm. How would you say and encapsulate your season as a whole over what you've seen them perform at?
So we've definitely had our ups and downs this season, and I would say even though in some tournaments our finish wasn't strong, our play was stronger than what our finish was, and they were tough tournaments because they were, the field was stronger. But to see what our team is capable of in various tournaments throughout the year, I think there was times where I'd have, 2 or 3, going on all cylinders, and a couple going on, one less cylinder, so it's like, okay, now is our time to really get everybody firing all at once, and to see, where some of these scores came from and how they produce these scores, and what they can now, really have this opportunity at the MAC Championship to just put it all out there.
Your seniors, we'll start with Anna first. What have you liked about her play? And again, think about her career. What have you been most impressed with?
She's steady. That's one thing that I've always been impressed with her game is I can look out on the golf course and not really know if she's playing well or playing bad, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But I think for her, it's really helped her with her game to just kind of be even keel, and she's so consistent. Her swing, she's developed it through the years, but she's become very consistent with how she strikes the ball. We finally got the golf club situation figured out. We got the right clubs for her, and so it's just been great to see that progression and how she's definitely a very reliable and consistent teammate, golfer, and an athlete. And like she's a leader. And she leads by example. She leads by helping her teammates. She leads by supporting, and she's got a great future ahead of her. Whether golf is still part of that or not, I know she has a great future ahead of her. So.
And then, aside from the tie, what has she meant to this program and playing style this year?
She may be the only Eastern golfer that has been a part of our team for 6 years, and I know she wasn't here, during COVID, but she was still part of our team. And, she holds a special place for me as her coach, and just to see her growth through the years of what she's done with her game and how she's just become the person she is. Come out of her shell a little bit. I know when she was here as a freshman, it was you're thousands and thousands of miles away from home, and in this new environment. And she really embraced her teammates, embraced the university, embraced everything here. And she found her friends. She has a really great group of friends that she's developed over the years. And so to see that as a person, yes, golf's a big part of it, but just her as a person developed into who she is. And, adulting is not too far away. So I feel she's ready for it. Yes.
And then you still have to figure out the kind of other 3 slots. That's still something that you've got to decide on. But what can we expect from those golfers that we might see at the tournament?
My big thing is we got to shoot in the 70s. Every round. Our goal as a team was to average around 75 per person or per golfer each. So that would be 300. And knowing what we have to do to get in the top 4 for max, it may have to be a little bit lower than that. So the 3 people that are going to fill those spots are capable of shooting those scores, and that's what we're going to expect.
When one program has dominated from start to finish, it's tough to brag about something other than that. But over the course of history, Eastern's been the top challenger for Kent State with more runner-up finishes than anybody else in the conference. What does it say about this program in its ability to be consistently good at this tournament?
I mean, there's the coaches before me have really set that standard, and I appreciate that has been the mentality, because even as a player here and the turmoil we went through, maybe those first 4 years of having a program, I think there really came out of that an attitude of we can be a contender, and we will be a contender. And we have the facilities, and even now, even then we had the facilities with our golf course, but even now, there's even more reason to have the games in shape the way we want them to be. So I feel that's something we can brag about. It's a good step, and we just got to keep pushing forward. And there's other teams in the MAC that are vying for those spots too. So.
You look at this opportunity and go to a golf course outside Columbus and play in this tournament. What does the course challenge this team, and what will be some areas that you think it can exploit too in the landscape of golf?
Yeah, it's a private club, really well manicured, and I think it suits our games very well. As Anna expressed, the greens are great. And that's one thing, when you get greens that are rolling really nice, you can make a lot of putts. And that's what I'm hoping to see, with this game. And there's some really good forgiving holes. There's a couple holes that really make you think, very strategic holes. They're kind of flopping the nines, I guess, like what it normally is. The front nine is going to be the back nine, So they're kind of switching up the 9s because just the way the finishing hole is going to be at the clubhouse there. So but it sets up very well. I know they were doing some bunker renovations when we were there in the fall, so the bunker should be really nice. And we've had a great fall as far as weather goes. So I expect it to be in really good shape. Yeah.
You have a new trophy case.
We do.
We have a spot lined up for said hardware that you hope is coming back.
We'll make a spot. we don't have to find a spot. We just make a spot. Yeah.
Just clear some stuff out of the way.
Exactly. Well, we'll get rid of this trophy. No. I think a MAC trophy takes precedence over many other trophies. Yeah.